I'm Lady Laura Simon.
And here we are again. Now, if you are with us all the time, you know that Laura and I have a lot of fun and we talk about books, we talk about the Word of God, we talk about our kids, we talk about your kids. We talk about a little bit of everything. But this week we have a very special guest with us. And this lady has become a friend of mine. We don't live in the same state, but we are in an organization that we call ASA by its initials, AWSA. Yes. ASA stands for Advanced Writers and Speakers Association. Right. Laura is a member as well.
I am.
I'm a board member.
Yes, you are.
Back up. Okay. So is Dawn.
You and Dawn have been in ASA a long time.
Yeah, we've been here a while. And what we do in ASA is just have fellowship. Women, writers, we have fellowship. We get each other as writers.
Get each other.
Some of you who watch our program, you're a writer as well. And you know that sometimes, people go,
yeah, the humor is not the same.
What? Okay, so we kind of all get that. We encourage one another. We have an annual conference. Our paths cross. Also, members paths cross at other conferences and things like that. We're just doing what God has told us to do in this part of the vineyard, which is write books.
Write books.
Well, today we have Dawn Damon with us. And so Dawn, say hi to the people.
Hey, everybody. Wonderful to be with you.
Hi to the people. Okay. So Dawn, let me introduce her a little bit. Dawn is a dynamic communicator. I mean, she was one of our keynote speakers last year at our conference. And
awesome personality.
Yeah.
It lights up a room.
Totally. Blew us all away. She captivates her audience with her wit, quick wit, humor, wisdom, all that kind of stuff, right?
And she's the best dresser.
Okay.
With her sparkly stuff.
We try to keep
I love her for that.
We try to keep up with Dawn. Come on, we're a bunch of women, right?
Right, right.
We try to keep up with each other on our clothes and things like that, but we're not catty. That's what's good about us. We're just, if you come in a nice outfit, we're like, girl.
Yeah, I like that.
You wearing that. And we say that to Dawn a lot.
Yes,
Dawn has a very deep wisdom and she has spiritual knowledge as well. So just like you've experienced on our show, we can't cut the jokes and talk about the word, right? On a serious level, she's a veteran of traditional and non-traditional broadcast media and as a featured guest and guest host. She brings an inspiring, thought-provoking interview, and you're going to see that in a very few minutes, to any listening audience. Her new book is Making of a Brave-Hearted Woman.
I love the cover.
Yes, so we all want to be brave-hearted women. So Dawn, why don't you kind of give us a little bit of background about even writing this book to begin with? Are you a brave-hearted woman? Were you not one? What's going on?
Well, I've always been a little feisty, but there came a
little.
Yeah, right? And just an example of that feistiness might be to say, Sharon, you're on the board, but this last year I became the president of the board.
Yeah,
so, just saying.
Yeah, Dawn's like a really big deal.
No. It's wonderful to be with you guys. Thank you so much for having me. But yeah, I always was a little bit of a spitfire, but some of that bravado was really kind of a protective mechanism that I realized that I created because I was a survivor. I had experienced ongoing childhood abuse, sexual abuse. And so that created for me a tough girl that said, you're not going to hurt me. Anytime I felt threatened or fear or somebody was trying to manipulate me, I think I overpowered because it was like, you're not going to do that to me. And so that was one of the works that God had to do with me. That wasn't really bravery or courage. That was defensiveness. That was fear, right? And so, but I wrote this book because, to answer your question, I was always a little feisty, but there was also a very fearful little scaredy cat within me. And after I had been married for 28 years,
Mhm.
I went through a divorce. My transition came at a time where I didn't want it. It wasn't what I was looking for. I wasn't anticipating it. It was very traumatic and painful. And that was about 15 years ago. And in that season, y'all, I had to find true, for real, courage and bravery.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, we have, talked about some of our own, right, issues, things
And trauma.
traumas, things we've been through, and yeah, we can easily, unfortunately, it's easily find ourselves where we never thought we would be.
Never thought we
Never,
would.
never. So at 46, you found yourself in a place where you needed to reinvent your life.
I did.
Okay.
And because everything was wiped clean. When I went through that transition from being a we to a me, from a married world to a single world, to a pastor on staff of a mega church, to unemployed, to a full house, to an empty nest, even my dog died. I was like, okay.
Oh, wow.
Like this, add insult to injury.
That's an insult. Okay. Okay.
It was just over the top. And really every area of my life, my finances, my church family, everything, my identity, it was all just wiped clean. And I remember just looking in the mirror saying, okay, Dawn, you got to be brave. You what are you going to do? And crying out to God. I remember one specific time I was feeling sorry for myself. I was scared. I felt like a victim, and I was, but I just said, God, why is this happening to me? And I remember the Lord so clearly saying in my spirit, he said, Dawn, it's not happening to you. It's happening for you. And when I got that shift in my spirit, I was like, okay, Lord, come on. Then you walk me through this. And so I found out that yes, I had to reinvent, but really what it is that I had to listen and discover and become what God had already ordained for me to be from the beginning of time.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. Just coming through this year of being without my husband, he left me for a better partner.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did.
He did. He left me for a better partner. He passed and went to heaven and is not even looking back. I mean, come on now.
He's not.
Right.
He doesn't. He wouldn't want to be back here.
See, he wouldn't want to be back here.
Yeah.
But some of the same thing, a full house to empty house, coming home and the house is dark. If I haven't turned the light on, it's not on. The financial changes, all of those things, that women go through, right? You went through because of divorce, women go through because of the death of a spouse or whatever else, there's illness that leave us changed.
Right. But Dawn, did you leave? Did you move out of the state, or you just, when you transitioned, did you move out of the state?
No, I did not. What I did, though, my husband did. He ran away from home and he just kind of disappeared. And that's when, over time, now it was weeks, it was months. And then, then the divorce happened. But when I came back to Michigan, because I found him in New Orleans, and that's when he said, leave me alone. I'm not coming home. It's over. And I was just stunned. And I found my way back home to Michigan. I went and I told my church right away. I was the executive pastor. And that was the day that I was relieved from my position. So
incredible.
That day, you tell them and you share with them this devastation, and then they relieve you of your duties that day.
They didn't say today's your last day. They said, we think, let's pray, but you stay on a leave of absence right now, and you stay basically, You're done. And then over the weekend, then on the Monday morning, that was it. It was over. But I never, from that moment on, I never went back to church, to my office. And you know what? I'm not bitter. I'm not a victim. God bless them. I love them. They did what they thought was right by me. They did take care of me, but yet and still, it was abandonment. It triggered something in me. It triggered abandonment that I was already struggling with. It triggered the abandonment of childhood, that I didn't really have a dad that loved me. I had a perpetrator. It triggered my sense of every man in your life is going to hurt you. And so I was traumatized, for sure, not just once, but layers of trauma.
Yeah.
That was the birthing place. Listen, y'all, sometimes something in your present has to die so you can birth the future.
That's
And
good.
it was my season to birth a brand new thing, and God just let everything get wiped clean. And my assignment from God was I going to stay in faith? Was I going to keep on doing the next right thing, or was I going to succumb to bitterness and anger and victimhood? And I was determined that I wanted God's best, and I wanted to feel right. I was angry. I felt like Uriah on the front line, like, all the soldiers were told, "Hey, back up so we can take her out."
Yeah.
Friendly fire is a tough thing.
Yeah.
But I'm better for it. Yeah, God, let it happen again a million times, because what I walked through, the death process, death of a marriage, death of a vision, death of a career, it was a lot of just letting go. But that was where this whole essence of brave started coming from. And I remember the day that a little slice of sunshine came into my life. I was, I met my first husband when I was 17 years old, got married, engaged at 18. And by 19, I had a baby, and I had not one day of adult life by myself. I didn't know what that was. And so I was driving home one day, and again, bemoaning to God that it was dinner time. My thing was, it's 5 o'clock. I got to get home. Somebody's going to be waiting for me. And then, no, nobody's waiting for me. Nobody's looking for me. No, I don't have to cook dinner for anybody. No, I don't have to drive any kids anywhere. I don't have to clean dishes. There's nobody I could do. And I started crying, I'm like, I could do wait a minute. I could do whatever I want.
Well, look at that.
Hey,
look at that. Oh,
yeah. We just talked about, from the other side of this. I had to decide, that James nor his memories are ever going to fill my aloneness.
Yeah.
Right. I'm doing what I want.
You're doing what you want.
So what does it mean to be brave, Dawn?
Yes. Well, brave to me is the rising, the courage, elevating, standing up when against all odds. But I say, it takes a lot of bravery and courage to stay the leading lady of your life when you really want to go stage left, right? Let me just bow out. Especially in midlife, because now I am writing specifically for women who might be in that season where they do have that empty nest, and they might be tempted to say, let the younger women do their thing now. I'm aged out. There's nothing left for me. It's too late for me, And I've discovered that women in midlife start to get really blurry about their vision. They're not seeing well. And when God knit you together in your mother's womb, and he fine-tuned you, and then he breathed gifts and created you just for your purpose. He didn't say you're just going to be, and I don't think I think being a mother and a wife is the highest calling. But beyond that, that is not your only gift. That's not your only purpose. That is not your only calling. And so I really encourage women to be brave and to discover what else has God put inside of you. And maybe you already know that. Maybe you're a businesswoman. Maybe you get all of that. But there's a large number of Christian women who have stepped aside to serve everyone else and invest in everyone else. and they're afraid to take their turn. It's
Yeah.
your
Ooh, that is so good. And you know what? That's so good as far as not just women who are midlife. Dawn, today, just before we started, I talked to Kennedy, my 29-year-old,
Okay.
and I'm going to get the book for Kennedy
Sure.
because she is talking about being brave. Just, I mean, literally before we came, because she's thinking, well, what am I going to do next? You know what? You're going to either be, I'm going to be 61 in 3 years with a doctorate or 61 without the doctorate.
That's right.
She'll be 30 with a new life or 30 without a new life.
Right on.
So, Dawn, this is amazing. And so how did you become brave? I know I kind of jumped ahead, but I'm
that's
got
okay.
excited, you know, courage, confidence, vision in midlife and young life. What
Right.
is the anatomy to brave?
Yeah, so there is an anatomy to me in my mind. The things that I say, these are the three elements. And of course, the first one for me is resilience. And that just says, I don't quit. I don't quit on my dream. I don't quit on me. I don't quit on God. I don't quit on, I have a relationship, a strong relationship with the future me. She is counting on me.
I like
She counts
that.
on
Future
me.
me, resilience. I love
Yeah.
that.
A
So I
strong
can't-
relationship with the future me.
That's good.
Right.
That's good. Okay.
So she's counting on me to do the push-ups, to eat the food, to take the education, to do the class, to buy the cool shoes. She's saying, hey, you gotta stay, you gotta do the do so that you can, in 5 years from now, like you just said, we're gonna arrive. But where we're going to arrive is up for questions. So mental toughness and determination is resilience, but also how fast we can pop back up when we do fail. Because what is bravery if there isn't some kind of fear involved? If it doesn't mean that you're doing something that doesn't feel
Right.
comfortable.
Exactly.
Some fear involved. I love that.
But you know, the picture of that little toy, you know, that has the sand in the bottom, but you can
Yeah.
punch him.
Oh,
And
yeah.
he went back and bam, you know. And if you're not careful, he's gonna pop back up. Okay, so resilience is the first part of the anatomy.
Yep. Then truth telling. And somebody, we talked about, someone once said that, it really takes courage and bravery to tell your friends the truth.
Ooh.
And I said, I agree with that. And I think it takes even more courage and bravery to tell yourself the truth.
There you go.
Yourself the truth.
Some truth telling. Like, you got to face yourself. You got to be real with yourself. You cannot water down and have some kind of fluffy version of what's going on in your life. At one point, I had to take my journal and I wrote, Dear Dawn, sweetheart, I got to tell you the truth. And I just began to tell myself the truth about me. You're angry, you're bitter, you're acting like you're a victim. It's time to transition. So we got to tell our truth, ourselves the truth, not the version of what we wish we were true, what I wish, or all of our excuses. We're so loyal to a bunch of excuses that keep us stuck in average. So we got to break up with those excuses and live life on life's terms and say, listen, this is the deal. And when you do that, man, oh man, is God's grace amazing. And then you can face your life with a plan instead of running from it or hiding from it.
Yeah. And I would add that the truth that you tell yourself needs to be decidedly yours, not what other people want of you or what you think is going to make anybody else happy. Right. But this is who I am. I'm telling myself the truth. If it's something that I need to fix, hey, let's fix it. Right. My pastor says you can't fix what you won't face.
Ooh,
right.
Yeah.
And then if it's true and you're okay with it, then be okay with it, no matter what anybody else says.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. So we've got resilience,
truth telling.
Yep. And then actions, because without action,
up and do something.
do something. And we know that life rewards action. It's just how it is. As a brave-hearted woman, we have to learn to take steps of courageous action. Do the thing. And so, for me, I had written down goals and then I procrastinate and then I talk myself out of it.
She's
It's
talking
like,
to me.
no. I would do, if it's a worthy goal and you say you want it and you believe God has called you to it, then get the action, put the action.
Go after it.
And so to me, we need to be brave to take that action, whether it's send that email or make that phone call or finish that resume or put that book proposal out or say hi to that good looking man that, God, you put in your heart, whatever it is, talk to people. Come on
There
now.
you go. Now, come on now.
God sent her today. God sent you today, Dawn. Literally, that was in my prayer closet this morning, and you're just thrashing all my excuses.
She was all in there. She was listening.
That's amazing. So resilience, truth-telling, action. I got to stop procrastinating.
Right. RTA.
Okay, so RTA.
RTA.
Resilience, truth-telling, action.
Okay. All of you watching, there's going to be a test.
Yep, we're going to ask you at the end of the show.
Truth-telling,
yes.
Action. Okay, so you stress the importance of what you call the 5 fortitudes. And we want to try to get this in. We only have about 6 more minutes to the program. All right, so what are they and why do we need them?
Okay, I'm going to run through this. Now, to make it easy, I'm going to give you an acronym that spells BRAVE.
Well done.
And fortitude, again, you take all the anatomy of brave and then you get a courageous Holy Spirit. That's fortitude. So here we go.
Okay.
First thing we need is a bold vision. Because if you see nothing, you can expect nothing. To live your best life, you have to have a vision from God of what he's calling you to. He's got greatness in store. What can you see? Ask Jeremiah, what do you see? Jeremiah said, I see this, I see that. He said, you've seen well. God wants to show us a picture of our future. So we need bold vision.
Okay.
And then real identity. What kind of person lives into that vision? If you get there, can you stay there? Because you know who you are. So you got to have real identity. You talked about it a moment ago, Sharon. You talked about, authentically you. So the most important element of personal development is your identity. What image do you hold of yourself? Because you will never rise above the image that you hold of yourself.
Nice.
And then able mindset. It's Joshua and Caleb. We be able.
That's right. We are able.
We are able. You have to have an able mindset. I remember when I shifted from I can't do this, God, I can't do this, to saying I am able, because it didn't happen to me, it happened for me. And so, Henry Ford is the one who said, those who think they can and those who think they can't are both right.
I like that. Yeah. Henry Ford, I did a little bit about Henry Ford when one of my students did a paper about him, and he was
something else.
Yeah, he was something else. Okay.
So bold vision, real identity, able.
Yeah. We're taking notes.
Able mindset. Yeah, I've got the notes.
Able mindset. Okay.
Because, going back to
that's
Joshua,
that can-do spirit. Yeah.
That can-do spirit. There was 12 spies. 10 said we can't do it, and 2 said we can. And guess what? They got exactly what they said.
That's right.
Which is the next one. Virtuous talk.
Virtuous talk.
And the word virtue comes from life. Speak life. Don't talk about what is and the negative. That's called reporting. God said, prophesy, speak life, say what you want and believe God is doing. Stay in faith with your tongue. Anybody can talk about what's negative and what's wrong, but it takes a brave-hearted woman to say, I believe God. And so virtuous talk. How is your self-talk? Are you cursing yourself? Are you down on yourself? Are you body shaming? Are you age shaming? Are you shaming your capacity and your brain? Like, what in the world are you thinking? You're such an
That's so good.
Seriously, I mean, not to be, radical on it. But yeah, I do want to be radical because you're with your spirit 24/7. Faith comes by hearing.
That's
What do
it.
you
Yes.
hear yourself saying?
What are you saying? That's great. And then the E.
And then the E, and we just talked about it a moment ago. Excellent habits. Show me your
Excellent.
habits, and I'll show you your future. Because you know what
Excellent habits.
Success is habits over time bringing you to destiny. Good habits. Bad habits bringing you to failure. Nobody wakes up one morning and is a failure. Nobody wakes up one morning is a success. It is the incremental going forward of either good habits or bad habits.
That's excellent. Well, believe it or not, we are just about out of time.
Oh.
I know. Oh, but we got a lot in. Dawn, I love you. Thank you for sharing, and not just sharing. This is not just sharing. Okay, here's one of my friends. She has this book.
No,
I want
this
you to
is
buy this book.
amazing.
No, this is for you to take some steps forward.
Yes.
To take some steps forward. All right. So we're not just hawking books. That's not the point.
Yeah.
I'm
gonna get that for me and my daughter.
Right. We're talking about you being able to be a brave-hearted woman, to put
Right.
some
Amen.
of these things into practice in your actual life. Not just, oh, I read this nice book and she kind of built me up. No. This is what you said about being true to that future self, right?
That was
that
good.
Future self
Future
is
self.
counting on us to be brave, counting on us to keep those habits going, counting on us to be talking about what she is going to be, what she's waiting to be, right? Out there in the future. Dawn, thank you so much. This was Dawn Damon,
Dawn.
our guest today. The making of a brave-hearted woman. I'm Dr. Sharon Norris Elliott.
I'm Lady Laura Simon.
And please, please, please see what you miss when you're not around.